ॐ वाङ् मे मनसि प्रतिष्ठिता मनो मे वाचि प्रतिष्ठितम् आविराविर्म एधि वेदस्य माणिस्थ श्रुतं मे मा प्रहासीः अनेनाधीतेनाहोरात्रान् सन्दधामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारमवतु वक्तारम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ May my speech be firmly established in my mind. May the mind too be firmly established in speech. Let there be perfect correspondence between my thoughts, words, and actions. O self-effulgent Lord, shine forth in my life. May the truths of the scriptures come to me. May not what I learn from them ever forsake me. Let me live my life day and night according to their teachings. I shall speak what is appropriate. I shall speak the truth. May that protect me. May that protect the teacher. Om, peace, peace, peace. Let us feel our true divine self. Which is full of existence, infinite and absolute, knowledge infinite and absolute, and bliss infinite and absolute. The way to experience this true self is to dissolve the unreal, apparent, limited I in the true self. Let us feel the true self like an ocean, infinite ocean of existence, knowledge and bliss, the Sat Chid Ananda. And this little apparent self, like a salt doll, jumping into it. This little I is dissolving. A few moments of contact with the infinite true self. Sufficient to dissolve it. The little self is gone. Actually, the littleness is gone. The self remained. In my true nature, I can see I am infinite. I am all pervading. I am beyond time, space, or causation. I am bliss itself. I am knowledge itself. This is peace. Om. Peace, peace, peace. So, dear friends, let us begin today's discussion on this wonderful biography of Sri Ramakrishna with our usual opening chant. Tava kathamritam tapta jivanam कविभिरीडितं कल्मषापहं श्रवणमङ्गलं श्रीमदाततं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ते भूरिदा जनाः. This famous verse appears in Bhagavatam, and it describes that how the people who spread the stories of God's incarnation as human being and the various acts the God performs in that human form, they are the greatest givers. It is, one may wonder why they are the greatest givers. Bhuvi grinanti te bhurida janaha. Bhurida means the givers, and greatest givers are they. Why are they being called the greatest givers? There are various gifts that people give to each other in the world. Those who are hungry, so people can give them the gift of food. There is the gift that people can give, gift of knowledge, gift of shelter, gift of clothing. So many types of gift can be given. But why this gift is the biggest? Because all other gifts, they can remove just for a little time our need. But the main problem still remains. It does not go away. That what is this life for? The other things will be able to sustain the life for some time. It is sure to go. Everything that is born has to die, today or tomorrow. So even if you give lot of food to a person, still will not last infinitely many days. It will die, the fellow will die one day or the other, next one. So it is like that these gifts, they do not fulfill a person because what this life is for is not really given to them. And there is always the fear of death. There will be also the other problems of desires and frustrations that come as a result of it. We still will be having the issues like lust and anger. So the feeling of dissatisfaction and bondage will be there. So what is the solution for that? And when these stories are given, then what happens? A person listening to them sees what is my true nature. That by that story one sees that just as this divine being, although had a form, was not limited by that form. Although like us, that person also had a human body, but that was an adornment, an ornament, not a limitation. And this is an important thing to understand. To have a body is very good. It is like your vehicle. Using the body you can do some things, but getting limited by the body is not right. It is you have to have the freedom that keeping the body aside, getting into the body, keeping it aside. Can you imagine now in this warm weather to put on your winter jacket if you are tied to that? It will be so terrible, you see, that thick jacket meant for single digit temperatures, then that's all right. But now when the temperatures are close to 90, then it will be a terrible punishment. And we are suffering that punishment because we are identified with this body, and thus we cannot come out of it, we cannot get in and come out of it, we are not able to use the body basically. And that is the difference also between a prison and a house. What is the difference, Vitthal? A prison and a house. If you are put in a prison, and if you are in a house, in your home, yeah, you can get in and get out at will. Exactly, you have the freedom. If you are sentenced to prison, then hey, I will go out. This is a nice time. Let me go and have some trip to Alaska. No, after your sentence is over, not before that. So it is like that. We are caught in this prison of body, and therefore this body is not at all useful to us. We are not making use of it. It is just a burden heaped on us. So, and then because of the habit, we have been wearing this habit. Habit means clothing also, so we have been wearing this habit for a long, long time and got identified with it. I am body. And that becomes the consciousness, that becomes the awareness. Even the idea of becoming free is also not there. It is, hey, what is, this is the freedom. We always think of freedom of body, not freedom from body. So it is like the freedom given to a prisoner. Okay, you can have some food of your choice one day a month. Come on. The person becomes happy. Hey, yes, I have got the freedom. It is, and we do not even make concerted attempt to become free. Most human beings, we are caught in this and are happy about it. Somehow or other we feel, okay, well, that is... so, it is told in Bhagavad Gita that amongst many thousands, manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye, amongst many thousands, maybe one or two, a rare person would be making at least an attempt to become free. And amongst many who make such attempt, one may succeed. Yatatam api, that kaschin mam vetti tatvatah, that so many those who are striving, out of them one or two will get it. Yeah, it is. I told you that incident sometimes, many years ago it happened. So we were going in a car somewhere, and one devotee asked me a question, that it is told in Bhagavad Gita that it is out of so many thousands of people, only a few make an attempt, and then out of those who make attempt, rarely somebody succeeds. So please tell me, what is my chance? What is the probability for me? Calculate the probability for me in that way. How much chance do I stand? Now this is a loaded question. Loaded in the sense the human mind wants to, break away from the spiritual practice. The Guru has given practice, yes, you should do this, and says yes. But then things, at the end of the day, if I am not going to have much chance of realizing the truth, then why spend time in that? Time and effort. These pleasures, let me run after them, even if they are transitory. At least transitory are better than having no pleasures at all. That is how the psychology works. There is no substance in this argument, but human mind works out this, that it is some people have actually very intelligent people have said to me that after all very few get it. So how much chance do I stand? But the same people will not hesitate to buy a lottery ticket. Actually, I didn't answer that gentleman who had asked a question. Some other devotee gave a very nice one-sentence reply that yes, it is said that even if you do not buy a lottery ticket, your chances of winning the lottery are only minimally reduced. Look at that nice way of saying, and yet people go and buy the lottery ticket. Because very rarely somebody is going to win. The million tickets get sold, and then one or two out of them may win something. So it is, but yet you can be one of those few in the million. Why? So same thing. At least you can say here very important thing is that winning lottery is a matter of chance. But realizing God is a certainty. Today or tomorrow, that's it. But it is a certainty because God is my true nature. I am divine. I will realize it today or tomorrow. I have to make a decision, a concerted effort. The problem lies here that we first have to make a strong decision that I have to do it, and then follow on that decision. It is dilly-dallying is not going to help at all. So it is when we see the actions of this God incarnate, we learn this thing, that yes, God can be realized. My true divine nature can be realized, and the life is meant for doing it. The whole life is, the only purpose for it is to realize our true nature. So that is what we learn from seeing these people and hearing the great actions by this incarnation of God. And then by comparison we learn. That is how human beings learn, comparison. So it is, you compare your state of mind and that person's state of mind. Oh, that person is human being, but has the divinity manifesting in that person? I also am a human being. Why My divinity is not getting manifested. Why am I just living like an imbecile? You start thinking in that line, and thus that is how the teachership works. These incarnations of God, they do not hold a class like we hold here. Hey, come on, we will discuss spiritual principles. No, it just spreads automatically from their presence. It is like a fragrant flower, say, and doesn't have to decide that, okay, now I will attract the bees. No, it's the presence itself, the fragrance itself will be enough. So this teaching goes like that. By looking at them, you get the teaching. It is very powerful. So, a story that is well-known story, but good to remember that it is like the sheep. The herd was passing, and a female lion. She was in the last hours of pregnancy, was about to deliver a baby lion, but wanted to have some food and saw the sheep, and so pounced on the sheep. But then that was too much of a labor for her, and then that lioness died there, leaving behind a cub. Now that sheep took care of that lion cub, but then in a sheep way. That lion adopted the ways of sheep. Instead of letting out the lion roar, it will just do the sheep. So it is and would eat grass. Oh, so it is now one day another big lion which was in the search of food saw that there is this herd of sheep. So, but it was strange for that lion to see, oh, there is a big grown-up lion amongst that sheep, and is eating grass. So this lion decided to go after this sheep lion, caught hold of that sheep lion and said, "Hey, you are a lion like me, you are not sheep." This sheep lion was already terrified being caught by the lion like this, and then started bleating out, I'm sheep. It is like, so it is now. This lion pulled this sheep lion near a pond and said, "Look at yourself. Look at my reflection, your reflection. What are you? Are we not same? Are we not same?" And then that sheep lion saw, so true. I am a lion, forgetting my lionness. I was wrongly thinking that I am sheep. And then it let out a big mighty roar like lion. Aham Brahmasmi. I am Brahman. So it is, this is how the spiritual life is, to see this incarnation of God. If that is like us, human being like us, in fact we may be looking better in appearance. It is. So, yet that is, if that is divine, what can this be? Unmesh, what are you looking? If that is lion and I look exactly like that, then who am I? Huh? Lion. So, if that is like me, a man, but divine, just like me, then who am I? I am divine. So, and then nothing more needs to be given. When you see that you are divine, then do you need anything? You are full, you are perfection itself. So you realize, you experience that, and thus those who give us these stories, they are therefore the greatest givers. Bhurida janaha. So this is why the reason that M, who wrote that Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, put this verse in the beginning of his Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. And we recite this even while discussing this book, that Sri Ramakrishna and his divine play. So today we are beginning this new chapter, and that some of the incidents and the conclusion of this is the fourth chapter in this fourth volume. So, Master as a Guru, conclusion. And as every chapter here is beginning with a verse of Bhagavad Gita, a couple of verses, actually this has 3 verses, that though I am unborn and eternal by nature, ajopi san avyayatma, bhutanam ishvaropi san, and though I am the Lord of all beings, yet subjugating my prakriti, I accept birth through my own maya. Sambhavami atmamayaya. Now these words in English really they have no parallels. So many scholars, even in the American universities, they are therefore suggesting that now we should use the original Sanskrit words rather than trying to translate those Sanskrit words into English, because now these words have become familiar to people and translations are misleading. So Prakriti has a very deep connotation in Vedanta scriptures, that it is difficult to describe in just translating it to English. These words, they make not much sense. So, Prakriti, how will you put it? Maya. So, Swami Vivekananda did these translations because he was one who was introducing this to people. So, he wanted to give some idea. But now, in the Western world, the study of Vedanta has been happening for a long time. So, in this translation, therefore, the author has kept these words just like that. Prakriti. It is the nature. If you want to translate it like that, that God, although one without second, appears as many. That is his special nature. That is how, for us, we have a problem. Things could be one or many. But actually it is the one and many. There is no contradiction in God about one and many. So this is how one should say that that one without second is appearing as all this. This is Prakriti. This is the nature of the divine existence. By its nature, it is like that. You can't question much about that. It is, how do you say, why is this sugar is sweet? Well, what can you say? It is its nature. The sweetness is its nature. So this is the nature of God, that one and many are not contradictory there. So Prakriti, and by that Prakriti, although I am unborn, I assume the birth. How? Don't ask why my Prakriti. It is, and but I am not caught in it. It is, Sri Ramakrishna used to give a funny analogy that how then God is not affected by this Maya or ignorance. It is God's ignorance. So God also must be affected by it. So Sri Ramakrishna used to give an analogy that a poisonous snake has the poison all the time in its mouth. But it doesn't die because of it, but the one who gets bit by it, that fellow dies. So, God's Maya does not affect God, but those like us who come under its sway, they get affected by it. So, it is, whenever there is a decline of Dharma, O Bharata, and a rise of adharma, I incarnate myself for the protection of the good and for the destruction of the wicked and for the establishment of dharma. I am born in every age. This is a very important special feature about God assuming human form. In Christianity, this is there, but it is just once in the whole history of mankind. It has happened just once, and that's it. It is not going to happen again. God came as Jesus Christ. The Word became the flesh. Hindus say that it is if something has happened once, and that there is always the possibility that in similar situation it will keep on happening infinitely many times. And so, whenever the condition is such that the God has to assume human form to teach humanity, all the truths that were taught by the scriptures, they have now become defunct. Defunct because human beings, they distorted them, they twisted them to suit their convenience. That is how in the beginning of this chapter, Lord Krishna says that I had told this before as well, but it is sakale neha mahata yogo nashta parantapa. In course of time, all that is lost. And so, you being my devotee and friend, I am going to tell you all that again. So, it is again and again that same divine being assumes human form that is suitable to the times, and then tells those very truths, but in a form, in a way that the modern people will be able to practice. So this is how the truth appears to us. We have that truth, we had that yoga, but we twist it, torture it, because of our ignorance. We do not want to practice. There is that story that I told many times, that a king, he long ago, he became in that he became a Vaishnava, following that great Mahaprabhu Chaitanya. And then it was dictated, it was told a dictum there that, well, you cannot eat fish. Now the king said, yes, I want to become a Vaishnava. And he said, I'll give up eating fish. Then the problem came, his palate was bringing its food up. Hey, what about fish? So now he therefore called many priests. Hey, find out, is there some way that I can still, while being Vaishnava, I can eat fish? Now the priest give them money and then they will do whatever you want, it is. So give more money. It is, they tell the story of a priest, that a man brought that his dog had died to a church. And then he said, I am member of the church, but this is the dog my dog has died. Can our church have funeral for this dog? And then that cathedral priest said, no, sorry, we don't do funerals of dogs here. Well, he said, I had planned to give $5,000 donation for the church that will do funeral for my dog. And then this priest said, why did you not tell me that this dog is Catholic? So it is, now you find out the way, so that it is, somehow you twist that they tell that to these religious preachers, clergy, they were having a debate, not debate, just a discussion as to when you get the collection from the members, those attendees, they put something in the basket, how much money you keep for yourself and how much you give to the church. One of them said, well, our arrangement is 50-50. 50% goes to the church, 50% I get. That is the arrangement. The other said, how can you do like this? All that belongs to church and you have the audacity to take 50% of it. No, I don't do any such thing. What I do is, I just take that basket and then throw up everything to God. And then whatever the God throws back, I collect that. That is the gift of God. So that is how I do. So the human beings, because of their selfishness, they torture, they text, and then it becomes then not a spiritual religion but a comfortable religion. The religion that can increase my bank balance and so forth, So it is very funny. So therefore again and again that message has to be given. Now as we read this, a very important point has been brought in here. Right in the beginning, that it is the scriptures say that one who knows the Brahman or God becomes omniscient. And then, but how we don't see such person knowing everything. So Swami Saradananda says here that the Vedas and other scriptures say that the knowers of Brahman are omniscient. No false thoughts arise in their mind as they do in the minds of ordinary human beings. Whenever they want to know or understand anything, it immediately becomes visible in their inner vision and they become aware of its essential nature. When we used to listen to the scriptures without understanding them, we took an opposite view and argued in vain. We said, if it were true that knowers of Brahman are omniscient, then why were those ancient knowers of Brahman in India so ignorant of the physical sciences? Yeah. Saradananda Swami gives the examples of the science and technology known to those days. Now it is hardly ever used. That now it is, did they know that water is made of a combination of hydrogen and oxygen? Why did they not tell us that we could get news from the United States to India with the help of electric power within 4 or 5 hours? That is the telegraph. And otherwise it takes several months to reach us by boat. Or why did they not know that people would fly like birds with the help of aeroplanes? They didn't know this. Now also many of these sages, they may not be knowing any of these things. It is so. What is? How are they omniscient? Even a very highly learned man is not omniscient, can know only something about his or her own field, and that too a little bit. So it is not possible for anybody to know everything. And obviously these people have made many false statements about the nature of the world. We had once, a lecture of one Swami in the university that I used to study. So, and the Swami said about this, you become, all knowledge is in you, you realize that. And then of course there was a question answer session, and a learned professor asked this question. You are saying they become omniscient like this, but look, a great saint, Ramdas Swami in 17th century. So he has many very well, very exposing Vedanta systems and all nice literature. So he says that the earth is flat. Now how can that be justified? We say earth is round, now we know, and he didn't know that. He says earth is flat. The Swami replied, read a little carefully. Does he not say that this earth is just an appearance? It is not real at all. Now, if you see that it is not real, why will Ramdas Swami have any interest in knowing whether it is flat or round? Earth, when you know that it is unreal, then it is unreal round or unreal flat. What difference does it make? It is because they know the essential nature of the things. In that sense, they are omniscient. And not that they will know the detail of everything, but they have developed such tremendous power of concentration that if they want to know something, then any detail, they will be able to know it. It is not difficult for them at all. The question is, will they have that desire to know? We don't have the desire to know that which is unreal. We hear Vedanta, but we are not convinced that this world is unreal, and so we still run after it. But when you have the conviction that it is unreal, you do not go to have to learn about it. When we do not know that how much water is there, we debate over it. We are seeing a lake, and then we, by looking at the size and thinking about it, how much water will it be containing? We can take measurements and so forth. But the person who knows that it is mirage and is not interested in knowing how much water. There is no water there. Why you are debating about how much water can it have? There is no water going to be there. So when they know that there is no substance here, absolutely no substance. God alone is the substance. So they are not therefore interested in knowing those minor details. If they want to know, they will know, but otherwise they are not interested in it. So this is how it is continues, that the master explained it by using a couple of rural examples. He said, when rice is boiling in a pot, if you take one grain and press it between your fingers, you instantly know whether all the grains in the pot are soft or not. Why is this? You haven't pressed all the grains one by one. How then do you know? Do you come to this conclusion? Similarly, by examining 2 or 3 things in the world, one can know whether the world is eternal or transient, real or unreal. This is how the observation, this is the scientific method, that you observe a few things and then see that shroud of the particularities of those objects. If you find the characteristics similar, then you come to the conclusion that they all will have this same one law that holds to everything, or like those objects are. For example, that is how you reach the law of gravitation, that it is not that you have to see that Newton, they say, saw the apple falling, but well, did he wait there to see whether it holds to every apple or not? No, he didn't have to. And then it may be applicable to only apples and not to other things. No. You remove those particularities and abstract that idea. So therefore, there is this attraction, gravitational attraction, the law of gravitation. By abstracting the variety and holding on to unity. That is the meaning of the word law. The law then becomes applicable to all those who share this one common characteristic. So, thus they come to this conclusion that everything appears and disappears. In this world, nothing is permanent. It is coming up and vanishing. It is, we were having this morning a meeting with our one investment advisor, and they tell that I have been hearing in that meeting always this very similar thing, that it is difficult to predict. Yes, it is difficult to predict what is going to happen. It is anything can happen anytime, but this is the trend, this is the law, this is going to happen, this may happen, that may happen. Okay, so it is, and that is how this world goes on those things. Because things are uncertain, there is the insurance companies have their, livelihood comes for them. Had it been certain, nobody would have bought insurance. It is only uncertainty, that we don't know what's going to happen. Nobody in the shop, there is no crystal ball for sale, It is, nothing like that exists. So things are uncertain. We know that they come up and then they vanish. That's it. So they are unreal. That is how the words real and unreal comes into our language. There is a debate on this, that in Vedanta philosophy, that you can call it impermanent, But how can you call it unreal? Then it is said, okay, suggest then some other way to understand this word unreal. Do you agree that there is a word unreal? If there is a word real, and there is the word unreal. So what will you call real and unreal? It is, suppose you see that there is a bear and you are scared. And afterwards, what happens? That more light comes there, and then you see that it is a log of wood. Now, was there a bear? No, it you saw, but it vanished. It was transient. It was therefore that bear you saw is unreal. Now, do the abstract thinking. It is that see, what you saw the bear, it was real for you. When you examined, that realness went away. So it is impermanent, comes, goes, and therefore everything that is impermanent actually does not exist. Its isness is just a reflected shadow-like isness, comes and goes. A very important idea, friends, that in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita there is a beautiful verse. It says, Nasato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate satah, ubhayorapi drishtontah, anayos tattvadarshibhi. That which is unreal, it never becomes real. That which is real never becomes unreal. So something that was seen as real, but then later on examination, you saw that it is not real. What do you conclude? It never was real. Like the log of wood in that example was real, even though when you were seeing it as a bear. You don't, after seeing the log of wood, you don't think that hey, there was the bear there earlier, but then when the light was thrown on it, it got scared, ran away. Not only it ran away, while running away, it kept a log there. Who will think like that? It is, you only see that it never was. It was just an appearance. So this world is just an appearance. So that knowledge means what now? You know everything. Everything is in this world is like that. So do you not know everything? Everything is God appearing as that. So you know everything. And this is the component that has to be put into our knowledge. That is where our understanding and the understanding of one who has seen the truth differs. Like I see, here is John sitting, here is this Rajgopal sitting, here is Abhijit sitting, and well, a person with the divine understanding will see that this is God appearing as Abhijit, this is God appearing as John, this is God appearing as Rajgopal. It is all these things are God given different, appearing in different shape, like in the wax museum you see that there is the statue of Churchill, there is the statue of Einstein. Is Einstein and Churchill same? No, but that is wax after all. It is wax appearing as Einstein, wax appearing as Churchill. So, the waxness is the common denominator of all of them. It is the incidental that the one has the appearance of Churchill, another has appearance of Einstein, and so forth, you see. So, similarly, this is all the God, statues made not of wax, but of God. God is the reality. We have to see this, you know. It is God appearing as this. It is all actually, what is it, Unmesh? God. Huh? Everything is God. Temporarily it appears as this or this or this. So, therefore our knowledge never reaches any conclusion. You keep on studying one branch and then of knowledge, and then after studying it again keeps on branching out. Many branches come. I asked one volunteer, hey, this computer has this problem. You are a computer engineer. I heard you told me that you are a computer engineer. Just see, and Swami, computer engineer has several branches. This is not my branch. So, because it is earlier the science and technology one thing, then it got branched into many, then it gets branched into many further things. It is, so therefore the doctors, in my childhood it used to be just one doctor for everything. So now everything specialist, you know. It is there is a doctor here in Providence, you know, one of our members had consultation with that doctor. He only is the doctor for the arm, pain in the arm. If you have pain in the leg, not my case. Hopefully both arms are covered, not only, if you have left arm problem, then not my case, only right arm. I don't know, it may happen, you know, sometimes that it is. So, this you never are sure. Therefore, research goes on, you know. Otherwise, why there is a research? Because you never get to a final conclusion. There is always scope for research. It is, you get Nobel Prize, that this is, what a great discovery, wonderful, Nobel Prize. After 10 years, another fellow gets Nobel Prize to show how this first fellow was wrong, you know. So, there is no truth in that. It is all changing. But this knowledge that God alone is real, that is the truth, that is the source of all happiness that we can think of, all wisdom is there. So your life becomes completely fulfilled by that knowledge. Otherwise, this knowledge, unending knowledge, always doubts are there. So, this is what is the knowledge. He has described some incidents of Sri Ramakrishna's life. Today's time is over. We shall take it up, that discussion, next Tuesday. And so next Tuesday probably will be, next Tuesday will be the last Tuesday class before we take a break for the summer. So, any questions, friends? You have a question, Charlie. Is there any question there?
Yes, Swamiji.
Okay, please, first the web listeners get priority, okay.
There's a question from N.
From M?
No, A. No, N.
N?
N. Yeah. how to be established in truth and not to get fluctuated into thinking that the world is real and forget the truth.
How? That is what is called spiritual practice. How to get that is thus hold on to such people like Sri Ramakrishna. See how they got it. And then by reflection, by getting their knowledge into your life, you will also become like that. It is said that obvious thing, if you are following somebody, then where that person reaches, you also will reach. It is. So, follow the footsteps of such person. Like Jesus says, I am the goal, I am the way. Yes, follow the way and you will see what Jesus saw. You will experience what Jesus experienced. Exactly, that is the way. The molding of the life has to happen. And that requires, therefore, a spiritual practice. And it changes, the change comes in our awareness. When we are seeing, it is just like that as some person goes to see the movie. All those things, they appears to be real, get so much into that it is at times in the old drama it used to happen. There was one great dramatist, Girish Chandra Ghosh, a follower of Sri Ramakrishna. He was such a great actor and he was playing a very role of a cruel villain, and then he was acting so perfectly. A man from the stage, a very well-known man he was in the audience. He came charging, jumping on the stage. You fellow, leave that woman, otherwise I am going to kill you. This actor said then that is the best reward of my life. As the best actor's reward, you say. That, but when you see the play repeatedly, then you know that it is not real. You see the movie repeatedly, you know that it is not real. Only the screen is real. So, similarly, when we are analyzing our experience, many things are such that we understand it just by analyzing our experience. You do not need any scripture or any great incarnation of God to tell you that the world is unreal. Just our analysis of our common experience is enough to tell us that this world is unreal. You don't need anybody like, say, Buddha to tell you that the world is full of misery. Do we not know it? We know it. Then what is the speciality of Buddha? Buddha held on to it. We discard this understanding. So, analyze our experience, hold on to the truth, and hold on to the message of these great spiritual giants that are amongst us, that see how they move, and then mold your life accordingly. And you are sure to get there. There is no doubt about it at all. Any other question?
No,
Yes.
no other question.
Yes, Charlie, you had some question?
Yeah, the mystics in all religions would agree that the world is unreal, but some of the founders of these religions didn't seem to feel that way. So if they were the highest people, why didn't they realize that?
They did realize, I don't know. For example, you say what Jesus says about this world, same like Buddha says. There is no difference in that. It is when you reach the truth, all of them say the same thing.
I mean, Mohammed would say that God and the world are totally separate.
They are, see, it is from these statements, when you take them apart from their context, then it appears like that. It is in this, for certain spiritual aspirants, yes, you think of God as the creator, but that doesn't mean they are separate. It is the creator gets involved in the creation. It is otherwise you have to posit a material cause and an efficient cause. So it is not that there is any difference. The difference comes only when people say some truth is to be taught to somebody. Now the thoughts are different. The students are different. So because of their levels, the teacher has to explain it differently. Like this common example, imagine, a Charlie, 1-year-old Charlie. Now this 1-year-old Charlie asks the question to mom, Mom, why does the moon not fall on the ground? Now what mom can do, it is, says that, oh, the God is holding it, so therefore the moon is not falling down. And then Charlie tallies with his experience that if I hold a ball, yes, it doesn't fall. So now I can understand it, that God is holding that moon, and so it is not falling. Charlie is satisfied. But this Charlie, when becomes, say, from 1 year, 25-year-old, then this explanation will not hold. Then you have to bring gravitation and, the elliptical motions of all this, and so centrifugal forces and centripetal forces and all that, physics. But for 1-year-old, you cannot tell all that, So, depending on to whom Muhammad is preaching, according to that the message has to be told so that it can get assimilated. So let us conclude with the closing chant. Coming Sunday, in addition to the Sunday lecture, there will be a music concert by a famous saxophonist who had performed here many times before, Phil Scarf. He plays all the Indian ragas, Indian tunes on saxophone. He will be accompanied by another famous musician in this region, tabla player, Nitin Mitta. So after the Sunday service, that will be the next program. We didn't have, before the pandemic, we used to have at least one music concert a month. But then for a long time we didn't have. After 1.5 years, almost, we are having this music concert. May the Divine, who is Father in heaven of the Christians, Holy One of the Jewish faith, Allah of the Muslims, Buddha of the Buddhists, Tao of the Taoists, Great Spirit of Native Americans, Ahur Mazda of the Zoroastrians, and Brahman of the Hindus, lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness to light, from death to immortality. May the all-loving being manifest himself unto us and grant us abiding understanding and all-consuming divine love. Peace, peace, peace be unto all.